Okay, guys, here is the before class and the after class. I think what we said was logically it was correct, right? It says the add before class and after class annotated methods will be run exactly once during your test run at the very beginning and end of the test as a whole. So if you have more than one test, then before and after is how they are run. Whereas before and after methods will be run before each and after every test case, right? For us, if we write one at a time, if for every test case only, if every test class has only one test case, then for us it's no different. Then it's the same. The setup class and this tear down class and the setup and this tear down are not different. But if we were to go something like this, like I've written, where you have more than one test cases inside it, then there is a difference. That the setup and tear down with every method, right, with every case, whereas the setup class at once at the beginning and setup and tear down class once at the end. That's the difference. Okay, I mean logically that's what it looked like, but I just thought I would Google it, and that's exactly what they're saying. So if you have more than one test cases in the same class, then they are different. If you only have one test case, then they mean the same. Kind of. I mean that's how they work. Okay. Okay. So let's come out to. Oops. Let's come out to what we were doing here. Right. So I've just written one class. So try another one now. Let's try to test that Boolean method where you were adding a comment. Okay. So let's go again. File, new, Java unit test case, and let's call it. What was that method? Add comment. And again, if you need a setup and a tear down, sure. And therefore it says these are static methods. Let's look at them. It says they are static methods. Oh, no, class under the test. No, this class is not under the test. These stubs will be generated for this class. Oh, in the same class. Okay, let me for a minute. Was I creating in the, no, I'm going to create a new class altogether. Class under test. What does that mean? I don't want to create it under that class. I just want to create it in the JUnit test folder. Okay, so where are we now? Let's close these. Let's close these. Oh, no, not the sales item. I want that for sure because I want to look at it. So the sales item test we can look at again afterwards. So let me kind of open just the sales item. There you are. Sales item. Okay, I'm going to test this method now. The add comment method, because it was returning a Boolean value. That's why. So that we can see if things are working right with the assert true and assert false, right? Okay, so what does this say? It says you can add a comment by a certain author, text, and rating. So of course, I'll have to create a sales item and then I'll have to add a comment to it. You'll have to do that every time because that's why those setup and tear down or setup before class and tear down after class. It says if the author is already present, then you will have a problem. If you are giving it a wrong rating, then it will return a false. Okay, so let's try that. So that method was called add comment. You can kind of pick it up from here, though of course it will show you there also. Where is it? Add comment. Okay, so let's do it. So see, notice that's exactly what they were saying. These are static methods. So they happen once before all the methods, test methods are done, and the tear down will happen only once after all the methods are done. So I just kind of created stubs because I wanted to see what was written in front of them and were they static or not. And notice how the after class and the before class have been included as classes. So it's not so tough to understand. Again, if you wanted to do something here and there was more than one cases, we could do it. Okay, so let's do it here. So here, just to be a little different from what we've done, I can, if you like, I can create a private sales item out here. I mean, the private and public is not a big deal here at all because it's entirely a different concept we are doing. Okay, so let's create it here. And if you like in the setup method, let's take this. And it's already throwing an exception. You can always add price exception. So remember, price exception has extended from the exception class. So even throws exception will work. Okay, so import that class. Just because we are in different packages. Yeah, there it is, imported. So you're on different folders, right? You're in the same project, but you're in different folders. So when you're in different folders, you will have to import it from the other folder. It's in a different package altogether. So of course, so that means if you wanted to import something, even in package state, we can do it. Okay, so let's do it here. Let's take your sales item. Let's set up a new sales item just to keep it different from the other guys, nothing else. Okay, and then do what? We needed an keyboard maybe, or maybe laptop, why not? And then of course this will range in higher figures. So let's take a Mac, kind of Mac ranges somewhere around 300, 1500s. I think if I don't put a point, I can even, of course I can pass an integer, we know that. Integer can always go into a float, right? So I've created a new sales item, this time in the setup method, just to be different, nothing else, so that you know what they are. Okay, now once it has been created in your test, let's call it the same name. What did we call it? Sales item add comment test. And you can create more than one here. Nobody, I mean, it's not as if you can create more than one test here for the same unit. What doesn't it like now? Annotation test is disallowed for here. And why is that? I don't know. Let's complete it. Okay, so let's do what? What were we doing? Add comment. Let's add a comment by me. And let me give a rating that is incorrect, like a 0. Or maybe 10. I wanted to say a good one and I wanted to say 10, right? What isn't it like? Void is an invalid type for the variable sales item dot test. Oh, did I have an X? Do I have an extra? No, everything looks okay. Oh, do you think? Okay, no, I don't know. Why is it saying? Let me complete it and then see what is it saying about it not being valid at this position. Void is an invalid type for the variable sales item add comment. Oh, so there, sorry. That's the problem. Was missing my round brackets. Therefore, it was saying variable as soon as I said variable. Okay, now what are we saying? We are saying that asserts, no, it was assert, I think, assert false. When are we expecting assert false? I think it was assert false. E, F, G, H. There it is, assert false, take a Boolean condition. Oh, take a Boolean, just a condition. Okay, let's try. It just takes one parameter, guys. It takes a Boolean condition. Oh, we can only test a condition, whether it is a condition is true or false. Okay, so let's do this, whether a condition is true or false. Okay, it's returning a Boolean value, right? The sales add comment returns a Boolean value. Take a Boolean, take a flag. But how will I say we have to compare flag with, oh, we just say flag, right? It should be false.
You can also use the method instead without using flag.
Yes, we can, because yeah, because it is returning a true false value. Exactly. Anything, any condition that will return a Boolean value. Yeah, you are absolutely right. We can do that too. Right. So this should give me, I'm saying it should be false because my rating is invalid. Right, and this should run successfully. And if I say assert true, then it should, this test should fail. So it's not that fail always means it is incorrect. Fail is just saying, what kind of condition are you testing? So if I say assert true flag, I know it should fail. You should know that it will fail. The test will fail. Now I know that the test should pass because I'm saying that this flag should be false. So if I run this test, which one is it? The most recent. There, it has run. Right? You can try this. You can also try this. You can add. Now the only thing is, yeah, maybe putting the condition inside will be better because then I can test various things at the same time. Right? So I can do this. I can say assert false. This will give what? This will give an assert false, right? Okay, this is what I'm trying to do now. See what I'm trying to do. In the same test, this must give me a false. This must give me a false again, same author. Right? If you want, you can change this to a valid value, like a 5, and say this is a true. So though it's not, I mean, we are testing more than one things in the same method, but about the same. So even if you don't like this, then maybe write different methods in the same class. One that does this checking, one that does the other checking. I mean, there's nothing wrong in it. You can do it. It's unit testing, right? So if you want, you can pick up this method. You can copy it again, and of course, we'll have to change its name. We'll have to say @test again. In this one, if I'm saying add comment test, maybe I'm talking about 10 being untrue. Let's see. Oh, but that's, oh, you know, now what? We can put it in. There's another thing we can now do. Since we are writing more than one test cases, I can create that sales item, not in the setup, but in the, I can do it in the setup before class here, so that I can use it in every method. I mean, I can do it here also now, right? I can, oh, what doesn't it like now? Cannot make a static, oops, static reference to a non-static variable. Either we'll have to make it static then. I mean, either way, do whatever. But if you are using somewhere, then you just have to use it as you want. The problem I was getting was this was a static method and this was non-static. So you could make it static and it will start to work. It's not a big deal. If you put it in setup, it will anyway run everywhere, but I want to do this. Okay, so that's one test I'm doing. And the second test, I'm just calling it test 1 and test 2, guys, just to keep it different, okay? And the second test I'm doing is I'm going to add the comment by the same person. So this is okay. This should be fine. This assert true is okay. Anju can, oh no, Anju cannot add a comment. Let's go Anju C then here. So Anju C can add a comment. The rating is 5, should work. This should give a false. Why? Because the same person cannot add a comment. And again, you can make notes for yourself. That's what you will do, of course. How will you know? I mean, how will anybody else know, though you are the tester? So this is not for anybody else except you and me, of course. So invalid, what was this? Invalid since same author. I had to do 2 here because this was not in my, this was in my setup. If you put it in class, then you don't have to change the Anju C to whatever. Then you can leave it Anju because this will happen in this method and this will happen again. So what did I do in this method? I added a comment by Anju C. 5 is valid. And then I said that should be true, which should be true. And then I said Anju, I added this comment Anju C again, added a comment. And that will be a false because the same author cannot enter a comment. So failure of a test case doesn't mean it is incorrect. Your method is incorrect. It depends upon how you are coding it, right? Do you want it to fail or do you want it to pass? So here we should be all okay. So if I run this code, there are no errors. So that's how you keep testing every method. Okay, that's with it. Right now, so and there are other methods like you could test each and every one of them if you kind of like if you really want to. Any other important methods? So we've done an upvote and downvote. Okay, yeah, we can do this also. You can add a few comments and you can say whether it will fail or pass. So you're expecting, you can add a few things and then right here also you can do this. There's no big deal in it. How many are we expecting back here? Where was our last one that we wrote? You can even test your, I mean in the same, though you don't want to do it, but it's nothing. So you're saying at the end of the day, I should have only, so the object is created, this method is run, this method is run. So I'm saying this value should be 1. Right? That's how you do an integer. You don't need a third parameter in an integer because there is no delta involved, right? There is no error that can come up. So what did I do? I added a comment by Anju C. It should true. I cannot add it again because even though the rating is valid, I cannot do it because it's the same author, then I'm expecting that after I do this, I should only get an answer of 1. So you can keep adding these things if you want, right? Now, if you've added a comment, so this may be putting it in tier up in the system setup before class would have been better. Then all my methods would have kind of the same, would have worked the same way, one after another. So now if you want to do an upvote and a downvote, again, you can create a different class altogether. Like maybe let's do this just to be different, nothing else. I'll take this and I'll put it in this one. I'll just say setup before. And I'll make this static. That's all I have to do, right? I have to make it static. What's the big deal? That's all I have to do and it will be fine. Okay, so here I've used the before class method, okay? Just to be different. Will it still work? Will everything be still okay? Yes, Anju. Oh, this should now fail. No, it's fine, 1, because this is invalid anyway. This is invalid. I should still have an answer of 1. Right, but this way I can kind of do it once and then I can, whatever I do in the other methods will be okay. So if I change it or if I add another person here, let's do that. I want to show you that they're the same method. So let's do this as valid for a minute, just for a minute. And this should be true now. I should be able to add this comment. What are you expecting here now? 2. Now I'm expecting 2. So this method will fail. This test will fail. So let's try that. Just trying different things. I mean, I know you can handle it if you've understood how to do it. Let's try it. There. So which one failed? This test failed. Right? So here it should not be a 1. It should be a 2. So now when you put it in before class like I've done, I've put it here. So it's done once and it exists till I tear it down. You know, it exists throughout the class. That's what is the difference between the before class and the before method. Before method works, sorry, the setup method works before every method and after every method. The setup before class works before all the methods and then after the method. So that way now all these kind of, you can assume are in a code, together in a code, kind enough in a sequence. So everything is happening. Okay, so what happened? I added a comment by Anju, it should be 2. I added another comment by Anju C with 5, it should be 2. But when I try to add a comment again by Anju C with the 4, it should be no problem, right? And in the same one, why not? In the same one, let's do this. I should still have a 2. I can still have a true. So let's say Chawla here. This is a third person. Let's make it 14. Even now the size, even now it must be 2. I've kind of tested everything. Right? So just to show you, like you can in the same one unit, J unit, you're testing one method and you can write as many methods to test it, different methods. If you like it that way there is only one assert in each. But you know what? So if you have a problem, if there is an error, you can always say where my error occurs and it will tell you the statement where is it. So that way also you're safe. You can always test. So I added a comment with Anju, 1 comment added, 2 comments added, cannot add because it is a false, cannot add because it is invalid. At the end of it, it should still be a 2. Right? So let's run that. There. So my add comment has been tested. So this way you can test every method. I mean, you can even do this. Now this is returning a void. If I give it an invalid index, what will happen? Nothing. If nothing happens, can I test it somehow? If it was a Boolean, then I could have said false or true. You know what I mean? Like I could have said it. But how can I test it was upvoted or not? With a void return, I don't know. See if you have a method which will tell you something. Assert false equals, assert not same. Oh, no, these are, assert not same is 2 objects do not refer to the same object. Maybe in contains it can be done. See, not same, there are 2 not sames. Assert null, assert same. Assert that. Oh, this is to do with matcher. There is a fail and there is a fail with a test message. Do you think that will help? Maybe. Can we say, yeah, maybe we can do that. What do you say? It will always fail. Okay, let's try that. Upvote and upvote comment and downvote comment. They're not difficult. So again, the same thing. You will just start with a file, a new, trying a different now trying a different method. Okay, so sales item test. What do you want it as? Voting, vote test, votes test. Anything? I mean, if you want a method, sure. If you've kind of learned how to do it, we can remove the before and the after, just so that we know it. I mean, it's up to you. No, class under test. No, let's remove that. Package. Oh, everything is going wrong. Okay, so let's cancel this. Am I at the wrong? Is my wrong? Oh, okay, because I was at the wrong. It's better just to kind of click there. Then you don't have to do many changes. It's not wrong, but I didn't want to do so many changes. Okay, so now I'm in the test folder. Package is default. Name of the class. How are we calling it? Sales item. So if I was to test the comment class, I would just call it comment something. Okay, sales item votes test. Okay, let's do that. If you want a setup or a tear down, sure. And if you don't want any, just leave it. You don't need to. Okay, so let's do this here. Let's do this. We don't have to make this static, guys, just because I'm just doing it in tear down. And again, you can do a throws exception, price exception if you, oops. You can throw price exception if you want. Okay, so let's kind of do a new. And in the setup, you can do all that you want. Oh, let's do a chair. Let's go with $55.50, whatever. Let's try to, oh, what doesn't it like now? Import. Just forget about it. That's all I do. Okay, so let's add some comments. Just going to copy it. And if you don't want to use the return Boolean value, you don't have to, but you can always say it. It's true. Let's add a comment for sales item. What does it want? Anju. Text, comfortable. Rating 4. Okay, so I've added one comment, okay? Okay, let's do another one. Let's do an, what doesn't it like now? Oh, one bracket. Control C. Let somebody, yes. Yes, Kanika?
Have to create new file for
Every unit, I'm doing that. For every method that I test, I do it. It's just a way of doing it. If you don't have to, you can just create one big class and just keep writing in it. Like I've given the sales item class on, sales item test class on Blackboard. You can write all your tests here together. By putting them in one unit each, you kind of know this is for votes, this is for comments, this is for constructor, and so on. That's its advantage, right? So things are in their own places. And then if you still want to run them together, I'll show you how to do that together also. So whatever way, I mean, this is more organized. That's all it is. Okay, so let's say, just because Ty's name is so small, he says, no, it is uncomfortable. And he gives it a rating of, he can give 0, so we'll go 1. Okay, and then somebody is upvoting it. So that's what I've done. I've added 2 comments for the same chair. One says comfortable and one Ty says uncomfortable. Let's try to write this test now. Okay, so what are we testing? We are testing sales items votes test. Okay, so let's upvote and let's downvote. Okay, so what does upvote say? Okay, this is the same comment twice. You can upvote with, okay, so let's go upvote. So sales item, oh, if I'm going to use sales, okay, that's in the setup. Sales item, it was called, what was it called? Upvote, I think. There it is. Let's upvote the comment at index number 1. Right? What happens to the votes? The votes go up by 1 for this, for Anju, right? Now I'm trying to see if I can say fail or pass is what I'm trying to see. Give me a minute. If I say 5, I cannot do this, right? I cannot do this. This is wrong. I cannot upvote comment number 5 because there are only 2 comments in my. So can I say, but that's writing myself, right? But can I do this? Do you think this is making sense, guys? Can I say fail? And can I say, or can I do this? Can I get the size of it? I'm trying to use fail and show you another method, okay? Get the size of the sales item. Right? This should give me 2. And I'm trying to do comments here. So that way I'm not doing 5 or whatever. And this, oh, no, what is it? What was it called? Get number of comments, I think, right? Yeah, get number of comments. There it is. Now this should fail. This should fail. Is there a way, something that I can say, because it's returning a void? You see what I'm saying? This method is returning a void. So this method should fail. So if I say something like here, I mean, this is just a message, but I'm thinking, is that the only way I can test it? Do you think that's helpful in testing? That's a good way to test. I'm saying, get me the size, and then I'm saying upvote this comment, and I should say there are only these many comments, and this should fail. And this will fail. Fail just fails, right? So let's try. And this should be successful. And this should fail. I mean, successful in the sense, what did it like? What did it say? Oh yeah, it will fail, right? This is where it has failed. And that's what I'm expecting. My test should fail. You see what I'm trying to do here? I'm trying to add a comment. I'm trying to upvote a comment at position 2. And that's not possible. I can only upvote a comment at positions 0 and 1. So this test should fail. So just passing the test doesn't mean you've done it correctly. A test could fail and you have written the correct test. Because it was returning a void, I couldn't do anything about it. The other thing I can do is, if I want to check the get up count, okay, so let's do that. So this will fail. If I do this, if I kind of comment these out, but I do this, right? So at position minus, I mean, I can do it at position 0. You don't have to use it. Now what am I expecting back? I'm saying that I must have 1 vote when I try to do, there was a get vote count, wasn't there? There was a get vote count. Remove comment, upvote, downvote. Oh, that was in comment, was it? Yeah, because no, that should be here, shouldn't it be? It has a name, has a price. Oh, that was in the comment. So I'm not doing the right one. What was in the comment? Comment said, who was the author? I don't want to test any method of comment here. Yeah, oh, the votes were here. Oops, can't do this. Nope. All I can do is upvoting and downvoting. I can do an upvoting and a downvoting there. I can't do anything else. I can't check how many there are. Oh, but I can do this, can't I? Okay, so let's do this. Get. Okay, so this sales item has but that's kind of making it too private. Nope. What about getting its details? What do you say? It had a toString method. We haven't tested that. That's the only way I can test it. Where are you, sales item? Here. There was a set price. You can always do a set price method. I mean, again, there's no end to it. I mean, it's just writing a full tester. So similarly, you can check remove and downvote and so on. The string is giving you back what? Comment get full details. Okay, we can do this. This is helpful. You can always say, no, we can do an assert equals. Oops. Okay, so this case will have to stay here, guys. It will have to, because get voting is not coming from here. Get voting is coming from comment class. This is to show you that you can't upvote a comment that does not exist. You can do it for upvote, you can do it for downvote, you can do it for remove comment, like whatever, right? So if another method, I can't, because I can't get the number of votes from this class. I cannot. It's in the comment class. It's in the comment class. From here, all I can get is just show you the toString method. And I don't want to mix the two classes. You don't mix the two classes. When you're writing test cases, you do them separately. So this is how I can show you that there are only these many comments and you're trying to upvote a comment that does not exist. Try the opposite. Try to upvote a comment that does exist. So if you want, you can do this. Try to upvote a comment that does exist. Which is that, I mean, why do I comment that out? Because I don't want to stop at that point. And what are you expecting now? There was a method called get best comment. We can do that for sure. Find most helpful comment. Find most helpful comment is returning a comment. Okay, how do you think we can test this? Find most helpful comment method. It's returning a comment. What can we use that will help us to kind of clarify that it has worked? Think about it, guys, for a minute. I've upvoted my 0th comment, which was my comment. Somebody upvoted it. The fail is working. We've already tested it. I mean, I'm not writing more methods because it's just more writing. If I upvote my comment, and now what should I do to say that get the best comment and it is returning a comment? Can I only say assert not null? Is that the only thing I can do? Of course, you can do a system out print line. That, I mean, there's nothing wrong in that, but I'm trying to see if I can use a method. You can always do this. I mean, nothing stops you. It's a comment that is coming back. You could have done it in the first case also. The toString method, you can do a system out println. You can do that. It's just a system out println. Like if you wanted to do it here, I mean, how else will I check my string method, right? There's no other way to test my, that's it. We don't have to say toString, remember, because it will automatically be called. You can do this. There's nothing wrong in this because it's returning you a string and we want to put it on the screen, right? So this I have removed because it was failing. So at this number, at this point of time, I already added 2 comments for it. I said chair, create a chair, add Anju, add TY. If you just want to see, how much, what is it, you can just do a system out println. If you want to try to upvote, you can again do this. So if something is tested and you show it again, because these are methods that are not returning anything here. So the first one you will have get vote as 0 and 0, and you can even do this. Okay, let's do it one at a time. I've done already 3 things in it. Let's try one at a time. Okay, so somebody must come up. There you are. Oh. Okay, this is how it is looking. There is an extra blank here, no big deal. Name is the chair, price is this much, customer comments, comment from Anju comfortable, rating is 4 and votes are 0. Then there is a comment, the rating is 1 and the votes are 0. Then again, I upvoted Anju's comments. So the votes are one, right? So the two methods are working, just to show that they are working. And I did the fail just to show you that, oh, it should fail if I try to add something that's not there. So again, the two string methods are working. The best comment method, I don't know how, I can only do a println, that's all I can do. Right, so that's working too. So again, as I said, you can just keep doing this as long as you want in terms of checking each method, like nothing, it's just checking the methods, nothing else. Now the timeout, oh, that's one I wanted to test. Okay, just for the heck of it, nothing else. Try to write, it has nothing to do with this, okay? Try to write a method that does nothing, returns nothing, try infinite loop, just because we are testing it here, okay? And this is an infinite loop, we know that. This is an infinite loop. Syntax-wise, there's nothing wrong in it. That's an infinite loop, right? As far as I remember, this is how you tested it, okay? I could be wrong, but this is how you tested it. At this point of time, it is running, so you can write another one if you want to keep it separate. I mean, it's something that you can keep doing as many times as you want. Okay, so let's do this. This is somewhere I may have to kind of, I think all you do here is in brackets. I'm not sure if it is a millisecond or seconds. Oh, doesn't like it. Okay, let's see. This is a timeout and I forget, oh my God, do we say timeout? Oops, is equal to 5 or something? No, it doesn't like it. Oops, I've forgotten. You just say what timeout you need, or is it in bracket that you write it? Or at timeout? Oh, maybe. No, it doesn't like that too. Create annotation? No, we can't create them. There was something, guys, I forget now. Oops. Oh. And this, all you're saying is after 5 seconds, stop, give me an errors, and that will tell you that it is an infinite loop test. It's as easy as that. The whole thing is I can't remember what it was. This is not working. It doesn't like this. Can you take a parameter and do it? I know it was called timeout or something. Oh. Oh, there it, no, it's called, yeah, there it is. Test timeout. The test developer could not be read as a Java doc location. JUnit.test.timeout. Okay, let's see. There is a timeout. There is a whole timeout class that you can use, but I was doing it an easy way. So this is the test they are doing, infinite loop. Somewhere have they shown me how to do it? Okay. This is a whole class. I'm trying to do it with the test class. Okay, let's try this once. If I can, then I'll have to do it. Test timeout Java. I think all you do is put it in brackets or something. Here. Annotation type test. There it is. Timeout is equal to 100, and the second timeout causes a test to fail if it takes longer than measured in milliseconds. Okay, that's exactly what I'm doing, right? Okay, let's try that then. So we are right, timeout is equal to 100. So let's go back. No, let's go back here. And what am I testing now? Which method do I need to call? Sales item. Oh, we'll have to do more work here. Or maybe make it static just to make the job easy. Shall we just try to make it static? Because it's not a part of it anyway. That way I can just call it with sales item, okay? I'm trying to cheat a little, that's all. Okay, let's do this now. What was it called? Try and fail. Here. So what have I said? I've said if it, oh, now if the 5 milliseconds is very less. So if I wanted 5 seconds, which means how many? 5 seconds, 5 into 1000. That way, 5 seconds is a long time. 5 seconds is a long time for an infinite loop. Let's test it. I think 5 seconds are there. It is. It failed. Right? So it tells me that something is running for more than 5 seconds. But if you notice, there was also a time out class that was available in the JUnit. I haven't used that. I have used this way of doing it. But if you notice here, while we were looking at it, there is a JUnit time out class also, which I'm sure works a little differently. There is a rule. A rule is created, and then it says it should get up after those 20 milliseconds. So I haven't used it. So, but the other one I had seen and used before, so I just knew about it. But that's how you test testing. So again, of course, I haven't done it from A to Z, but we've seen assert equals, assert nulls, fail, then assert true and assert false, right? So it's just a way of testing using the JUnit package. And that tells me that I have a timeout package too. And you can try it, like you can of course try it. Okay, now this is one way. I've created a unit test for each of my methods and I'm running them independently. And there is nothing wrong in it. And when you run a method, you can always rerun it, or you can say show failures only. That way, the methods that run fine will not come, the others will. Now, if you say, oh, I don't want to run that independently, can I put it in a suite? This is how you do it. You go File, you go New, please go to Others. In Other, create a JUnit test suite. And it says, okay, which test do you want to include in it? It says add comment, constructor test, infinite loop. If I don't want to include this, I'll just, because this was not a part of it, but there, if you want to include this test, what's happening is you're now creating a suite of tests. So something like you had written all the tests together in a class file. Okay. So if you want to do this, you can create a suite of tests and then say finish. Look at what gets created. It's just a template file, which it says run with this class. Again, notice suite.class, and it says the classes to be included are this, this, and this. So it has taken the compiled version. It will take the compiled version of those classes and run. And you can run a suite also. So when you run a suite, I don't know which cases were failing and which were not failing now, but if you run a suite, it's basically, I think we did a system out println, everything ran successfully of those three classes. So you can create a suite else. So at the end of the day, you could have independent tests. As you do them, you can kind of run them independently. If you want to create a suite of them, do that. If you don't want to run cases that are already running successfully, everything is possible, depends on what you're doing. And lastly, look at how I had done it. I had just written a normal Java class, like I had done before, not in Eclipse, but I had done it in BlueJ. So I was used to do it like this. I just created a normal class, which I was wanting to show you the setup and the tear down methods. And I wrote my test add comment, test illegal rating, test init for initialization and all that. I wrote them all in one class. And now if I want to run this class, I'm good here to, oops, add comment is giving a error. Where is it? Let's see. Oh, the same person. So now I'm saying assert equals true. I should have said assert equals false. Okay, so this is a little different. Instead of saying here, now it will run. But of course, I had made that. I wanted it to fail. Yeah, I wanted it to fail. So there's another one you're seeing, and assert equals true and false. The shorter forms are assert false and assert true. So you can write it any way that works for you. The whole class, I wasn't sure whether it will work in Eclipse or not, but it was just a Java class. And it recognizes it as a test class because, not out of the blue, because of these, because of special annotations that you've used in a class. So this doesn't have a main. Till now, we've only said, oh, a class with a main method can run, and there is where it starts and there is where it ends. But this is a test class that you've written, and it's perfectly fine. right? And it is runnable. It's running as a JUnit test class, not as a Java application. It is running as a JUnit test class. So you can even write it like this. I mean, you don't have to create independent test cases, though I'm fine with, I mean, I think it's better to just do them independently, one by one at a time. And in one unit, you can have as many methods as you want, only testing that particular method in that class, is my thinking. But again, this was another way. I wasn't sure, so I tested it at the end. And this works too. And this works too. Right? So that's a small introduction to JUnit testing in Java. Kind of gives you a picture of what it is, like just an idea. But it's not, there's nothing, you're still using classes. That's all you're doing. You're using classes and methods out of it. These classes are just special just because they belong to the JUnit, kind of suite. That's all. Right? So I am hoping, I have to work on it tomorrow now since Monday is the test. I'm hoping I can do some JUnit, some hash maps, tree maps, and all mappings and listings, the new things in my final exam. Right? You've done quite a bit of array lists. Array lists you've done them. So if I can maybe ask you to write a small test, or maybe I write a test so that you actually know how to use it. Even that's the same thing, something like that. So again, keep in mind, I've already posted this on Blackboard. I've already said, please pay attention to what we've done after the midweek now. Right? So you've done composition. You've done a whole assignment on composition, where you've taken your car class and it is composed of an engine, a body, and so on. So you've done composition. Then you've done hash maps, hash sets, and then you've done JUnit testing. Right? That's the main things you've done. So any kind of hash map, any kind of maps or sets. So remember, in Java, there are three categories. We have lists, we have maps, and we have sets. These are the three collections. Right? So lists are basically a collection of any objects, and they're associated with index numbers, 0, 1, and so on. In a map, there is a key value pair. The value is associated with the key. The keys have to be unique, and they can have whatever values, including null. Okay, they can have a value. The opposite is not true. You can have the same value for more than one keys, but the keys have to be unique. So again, if I say write this method or add this, you have to see, will I first check if it contains the key? Or I mean, you have to know it, and I'll allow you to use the Java API. So you should be okay. You don't have to memorize anything, right? And then the third category is the set. A set is just a collection. There is no ordering in it. So how is it different from a list? One, every element of a set is unique. And two, there is no ordering. Whereas in an array list, ordering is important. 0th element, 1th element, 2nd element, and so on. And of course, there can be repetitions. So that's why set was created, to be different from list. So those are the three main collections, and you should be aware how to use them. Right? And of course, JUnit testing. And composition, I'm hoping if you've done your assignment, it should be good. So this is what I'm thinking as a collection of what I will do in my final. So it will be hopefully easier to do because it is more conceptual and nothing that's so logically, and you have to write methods. But that will be my job tomorrow. I'm going to sit down and see what I can make for you. Okay? And I'm trying to mark the assignment, the car assignment, worse come worse. It will be done by next week before I have to give in my exams. And please keep an eye on your student emails, please. Still the results are out and due on Wednesday, 24th. I have to give them in by 4 p.m. Right? So if there is anything, you're missing a file, you forgot to give me something is not running, things happen. Even in assignment, students will give me the .class file instead of .java file, or they'll give me an empty file, or they'll give me my question back to me. Like anything can happen with students during an exam. So keep an eye on your student email. Don't touch your exams after you've done them. If it's not touched, the dates are there, I'll re-accept it. You know what I mean? But if the dates are gone, if you are working on it afterwards or doing whatever, then of course I cannot accept it again. So I would recommend that once you finish your final exam, don't touch your output, your Java code. So worst come worst, if I need it again, I'll allow you to resubmit it. So keep your eyes open on your student email till Wednesday, August 24th, 4 p.m. That's when I have to give in my results. So if everything is okay, it should be okay. Okay? Okay, so if anything else, ask. If you would like to test, if you would like me to do something else, I can do it. But otherwise, I have completed my course contents. right? I've taken care of everything that was under your course contents. Couldn't do something extra, but whatever it is. Okay, so that's it. That's it for this semester then. So the advanced Java runs next semester, but I don't know how many of you will do it or going on co-op. I have no idea. But anytime you need help, I'm here next semester also. I don't work during the winter months, but I'm here in fall, and I can devote time. It's no big deal. Okay, and I mean, you know where I am, but who knows? But it depends on you. Whether if you need help, you are most welcome to come and ask for help. So you can create JUnit individual, you can put them together in a suite of tests. You can create a normal sales item test Java and everything is okay. There's nothing wrong in it. So if you like, I can put this zip file, I can zip it up just because it's so big. I can zip it up and put it on Blackboard for you. You've seen different units also, right? It's just creating a different unit. And as I said, it could be a little different on IntelliJ, something else you're using, but the concept still remains the same. It's called JUnit testing because you're testing a unit, a method in the class. And then once done, you can all put them together. And JUnit has its own small set of functions. Next failed test, previous, and so on. You can kind of work with it. And you'll become better with it as and when you work with it. Okay, so that's done. So the only thing I have to do is now maybe just place this on the on Blackboard for you. Okay, let me close this. Let me finish with this.